This week is about what do I deserve? Which are my boundaries? And which relationship do I want to take to the next level? Welcome.
Hi there, Libra, and welcome to your modern shaman, Maria and RainbowLand, here with a weekly heartful forecast for the week that starts at the 15th and ends at the 22nd of October 18. This week we're going to start with 5 minutes of talk about your sign. Talking about your sign, draw 2 cards, a tarot card and an astrology card. And then we're going to continue with, this is it for the ones that only wants a short version of the weekly report, and for the ones that wants to go deeper, you just continue with the collective forecast. That will be after that. So this week, congratulations to Felicitas Franz, the German actress who won this week. Free consultation with me for sharing my video, the YouTube video, through the share button on Facebook. She did, but you can share it anywhere. Next week I won't do it for some time because I'm having a silent retreat. I'm having a lot of clients as well, personal readings, and the silent retreat is for a whole week where I'm gonna be in complete silence, no communication, nothing, no television, no electronics, nothing, just out in the woods in a apartment with no one disturbing, with nothing. That is one heck of a clean out, I tell you. So Libra, congratulations. Happy birthday to you. For the Libras who are born in the last degrees of Libra, you should manage your sign well. A lot of my family members are born here. And I have my ascendant in the very last degree of Libra. So this week for you guys is really now, after 3 weeks of having been looking into who you are, feeling into your identity. What is it that we have? In the beginning it was the new steps, you feel into it, me, myself, and then others started coming in and you started to see, okay, but who am I? This is identity. When I'm with other people, does it work? Do they accept me as who I am when I am trying to be this new me? A phase, of course, where you are looking over the past as your planet is going retrograde, thinking about your resources and all of this. And this week is really a week where we start out to seeing, okay, what is the best potential I can be as a Libra? Like, what is my highest potential? And which people need to come with me on this journey with the new me, and who cannot. So it's first you see at the beginning of the week, you see what it is, who you are, and you really start to understand who you've become after all this journey, and after that you really have to put into action. It's a very action-oriented thing going on afterwards, because it's in your first house. So it's like, okay, what can we do to put these plans in motion while you're a lot of changes and boundaries, new things going on in your second house. Let's look at the fire while we are talking here. It's so beautiful. So basically you want to commit to some changes of who you are, your identity, your character, and a new plan of how to execute these ideas about your life, a new action plan. So you're getting a birthday, you know, a renewal. It's a new year for you. So what will you do next, and how are you going to change? So because for this to happen, you Libras have to open up your self-confidence in a new way, and you also have to realize that the big picture of what you're manifesting is going to change. So yeah, you know, so you have to open up to being more confident, self-confidence for different reasons, of course. But if, I mean, of course, if you want to change your life, the way your life works, and what you're manifesting in reality, what comes out of it, then you have to change something and learn. We learn all the time, of course, on this planet. So. And with Mercury in your second house over your planet Venus at the beginning of the week, I think we mentioned it last week as well, you're gonna understand some things about your self-worth. You're gonna understand some things where you're like, that's the way it is. That is why. This is what I need to do if I want to keep my self-worth. This is what I gotta stop thinking about. This is what I have to stop doing if I want to maintain a clean and a healthy self-worth. And you're gonna be able to, make a plan, an action plan about, okay, how am I gonna execute this? How am I gonna make this, turn this into reality? How am I gonna use this time? And you have a while for it, and the plans may change a little bit, but these are the times where you're thinking about it. Let's see what the astrology cards have to say of the week has to say about this, because I like to use these as well. They are nice. So the astrology cards of the week for the Virgos, card Neptune. Sacrifice, but it's not so important if it's a sacrifice or not. Oh, maybe it is actually, my intuition says. So this is about your 6th house. Something about your health and your daily routine situation here that's going on, because Neptune is over here, and last week we had a King Kongs between your sign and Neptune and the Sun in your sign. As far as I remember, yes. And but we also, we had the new moon. A lot has been going on in your sign, and things have been feeling a little weird. We also over there with Neptune have Chiron, of course, in your 6th house. So there's something you need to let go of, some guilt you have about not being healthy enough, or something that you're doing in your health life. Maybe you have to sacrifice, give up something that you're doing. If you're smoking and it's not good, or if you're eating something that is not well for you, and it's a little blurry because Neptune can't see it so clear. But with Neptune, if we aren't clear, we have to contact God. When it comes to Neptune, we have to have faith in God, that God is giving us. And when I say God, I don't know if you've watched it enough time for me to know that we're not talking about a religious God. We're just talking about the that thing that if you've been into contact with. Of course we all have, but subconsciously, because that word stands for creator. What creates us all, what connects us all, that glue that keeps us all together, But if you have consciously tried through meditation, through being out in nature, and suddenly you felt one with all, that is what I'm talking about. You can contact this side of yourself, also because your 6th house is in Pisces, where you use your intuition to know what it is that you have to change, health-wise, or in your routines, daily routines, just let me see, because we are gonna draw another card as well. We're gonna draw this card so it can back up the other card. Yeah, so this birthday makeover of yours could also be that you are getting a new haircut, new style, new clothes, you're dressing more feminine, dressing more masculine. Your card of the week for the Libras, what do we take? This card. Oh, yeah. Pisces, meditation, man hanging down with his head, the hanged man. This one is seeking enlightenment. We had that for other signs this week. So this is a week, apparently, to give some time to that meditational practice of yours, to receive information where you are all alone. You go inwards and you search for the answers on the inside. You let your feelings talk with Mercury, and your planet in Scorpio, you receive the information intuitively. If you want to transform these things on a financial level for you guys, and open up to your own self-confidence, you need to surrender. This is also surrendering to God, along with the Neptune card we have here. That is what you need to do this week in order to obtain your goals. First and foremost, of course, what I'm gonna say, don't follow trends, follow your heart. Now we are gonna move on with the collective reports. See you next week if you don't follow along. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Well, so the collective part of this week will be a talk where you look upon beautiful things that I'm filming from the air, places that I love, that are charged with spiritual and divine energy. Don't you feel it? Yeah, I think you do. It's both at my home and very close to my home here in Denmark. Our home, I mean, of course. Yeah. So let's see. This week, well, I want to start with actually Mercury, of course, because Mercury is the main character this week. He's conjuncting Venus in the beginning of the week and he's squaring the node. So, and actually I just want to say about Mercury that he's retrograding from the 17th of November to the 7th of December. So we will have a Mercury retrograde coming soon enough. So we have Mercury squaring the node. So this has something to do with, are you actually going to, I mean, in your life, are you actually bringing forth the childlike, more playful, heartful side of yourself? Or are you more like, because Leo is where the North Node is, and are you going to be like the more rebellious, radical, and genius Aquarius? Which side to choose is what it's asking really now. So, but we have to know that the South Node is, of course, are we really going to get anything out of being radical and rebellious? And now that the South Node is here, even though Mars is also here, because Mars indirect in Aquarius is gonna wanna, go into these wild, weird worlds where we can express our deep, radical selves, But I don't think it's a great idea when we have the South Node here where we are not supposed to go. So, well, the question is also: are you really who you think you are, or is it just an identification with an ego that you have built a house upon, a rotten fundament? Like, is it really time now to find out who you really are? I mean, we are dealing with our trouble sides, of course, and we have Chiron in Pisces, so it's also about the guilt and the shame of all the things that fell apart in our lives, and the most sensitive things, and the most intense feelings and emotions on a dramatic level. Like, feelings are changing. And this Mercury-Venus conjunction Monday evening here in Denmark, with Mercury in Scorpio, we are here. He's investigating things on a deep level, not only just on the surface or in the mind. It's on the most deep emotional level, and he's kind of like, he wants to investigate so much there. So much more intense than other places. So he's trying to find a better suggestion for a life plan, for what we want, and how we can manifest deeper, more real understandings of, like, we're trying to understand and see the deeper layers of life here, and we're going to discover these deeper unconscious layers of ourselves. So, but the question is, again, with this bipolar sign of Scorpio, which ones take us to the higher realms of consciousness and to our open heart, and thereby to true love, right? Which ones doesn't? Which ones are like taking us down bad paths with bad people for us? Weird and ugly stuff. Because Scorpio is, of course, his transcendence from darkness into light, and yeah, he's just like these beautiful things that can come out of it, and a force that can push forward. But he's also the ruler of of sexual things like diseases and obsession and dominance, and things that the darker side of our nature. So with Jupiter here, it's just like multiplying things by 5. You might take it a little too far with these taboos in life, because he can be a bloodsucker, this fella. So these signs, with Mars are in Aquarius, in a fixed sign, and Scorpio is also a fixed sign. They know what they want, and they are kind of radical, and they're in a square. So with these two in a square, we want something so crazy and out there, but at the same time, we can also choose the more pure side. And this is the bipolar choice we have to make with all the Scorpio. And October, November is a wild months, and Venus hasn't even reached the 4 degrees where the crazy zone is at. But now we're gonna, because the 4 degrees was also where we had different things going on. There's some long story, don't want to go too far into that, but around these degrees are the crazy stuff. And now we're starting to understand what this Venus retrograde is actually like for us in our lives, more concrete. We are on the way down into the underground, and we are asking ourselves, okay, how much deeper down into the SHIT can we come? Because we feel, now we took a step, But some of the steps we take are also putting boundaries to other people, saying yes, no to other people. And there's also this fear of, do they then respond and come back to us and give us some SHIT? And do we then have a fight, a battle? Because Scorpio is such an aggressive sign as well, right? So, it's also dealing with this fear, keeping the innocent side of you alive, keeping the heart open is very important. And the question is, again, are you really who you think you are, or are you just identifying yourself with your ego? You have to find out now who you are. Well, again, Scorpio is pressure. The sign of Scorpio is pressure. Pressure to grow no matter where we are. We face ourselves, so we think that it's other people, that it's about other people, but it's you're facing when you're meeting resistance. Right? It's you're facing, and you have to dare in Scorpio to be who you really are. And Mars in Aquarius at the same time wants enlightenment, but then you have to deal with your SHIT if you want that. And Venus in Scorpio is asking, like, are you escaping? Are you hiding? Are you cheating? Are you stealing? Are you lying? Do you feel and follow yourself, or do you follow others and their idea about wrong and right? I mean, in relationships, if we don't try to change ourselves now, nothing, this Venus, is going to happen. You have to look upon how you can change. And Mars and Venus in square, which is still repercussions from it now, in this week, like, our relationships are changing. They're not the same as for 10 years ago. But we all have both Mars and Venus somewhere in our chart. And the one is more conscious than the other. And that side we suppress can, in a square situation, sneak in on the other, more conscious part of you. So you really have to be aware of, are you more masculine than feminine or feminine? And once the opposite side of what you are more is going to come about, then you know, okay, I may have to feed this side that's out of balance. That is the last week of Libra. You need to see which side in you are out of balance. Are you always giving? You need to learn to be the receiver and get your yin energy, your feminine side out. And most of us have too much masculine. We are giving. When is the time for you to receive? Venus wants attention now. Give it to her. Be vulnerable. Dare to be sensitive. Dare to feel. Dare to be. Let your feminine side out. Doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. I'm not talking about gender. The feminine side. And so basically what we're doing now is we're renegotiating our relationships. We're investigating our relationships. We have to change. We're being detective. We have to change boundaries, and it can feel really weird. So, like, 2018 is all about, changing on a personal level, clearing out old karma. The inner world is getting cleared, of course. So these huge changes inside of us is what this week is about. And last week of the Libra season here, it's all about the balance out in the relationship. So it's time to get what we deserve also. Time to draw some boundaries. Libra, Scorpio. So the moon is going to be in Capricorn over Pluto first. And that's the death of a new era. Starting Monday, Tuesday. And then the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and where we really, like, okay, we detach from all the chaos around us because we can just say, oh, F it, I'm not in it. I'm out here in my mental world. And then we're ending up in Pisces at the very end of the week, we enter a new moon phase in the traditional astrology with Aries, and the moon Monday, Tuesday, and then the moon is going to be in Aquarius, and where we really like, okay, we detach from all the chaos around us because we can just say, oh, F it, I'm not in it, I'm out here in my mental world. And then we're ending up in Pisces at the very end of the week we enter a new moon phase in the traditional astrology with Aries, and the moon is in Pisces. We have to rely upon God, right? So this is a week we're clarifying things, changing things, and we're detaching, and then ending up with a more intuitive side, right? So like fate, destiny is on the table when we are talking also about Capricorn. So it's with Pluto, their subconscious pushes towards the motives that we have, and we have to notice these signs that comes in our lives from our higher selves through our intuition. And in the Venus retrograde, we are listening to them more because the Venus is the feminine receptive side is more here. So we take the time to listen to the more spiritual side of ourselves also. In Scorpio, also because of the domino effect of everyone else doing so, then the energy is there. We are in that classroom here on Earth. So first off, in Libra, we were establishing the balance with our inner stuff, and the relationship with ourselves. Then. And then in our relationships in regards to other people. And now, this week, it's more like specific relationships that are the really important ones we're working with now. Find the right soulmates. Find the right teammates at your work, in our lives in general, of course. And we are following the emotional part. We're following the intuitive parts, the heart now. And so this is new territory we're walking upon. And if you have a hunch and an intuition about something or others, or if something you feel about people, then follow it, We're breaking through this week, and you're starting to see the opportunities that you didn't see before. And we live in a new ascensional level, the quantum physical world that was introduced to us in the zeros, to many of us light workers in the zeros. I remember even in the late 90s, it started really coming up, like because both of my parents are librarians, so I got it. My father's a critic as well, so I got the books from him, and I just remember like anything right now we can get that we believe we can is possible. If you can see it, it can happen. But you have to know and see and feel that it can happen. There's so much information to get from the Akashic Records, the Universal Library of Info. Just tune in, just log on the internet, the spiritual net, and you get information. I was born with Mercury in Pisces. That means that I don't rationalize as much as you might think. Of course, I also do, because I have a lot in Virgo, but I primarily get my info from my intuition. And this is what we can do with quantum physics. We can enter this information where we can also things and make them go much faster as well. A quantum level and a quantum degree of going through processes at a much faster level. We can change things just through a decision, right? We're not that limited as we thought we were. You're coming on a deeper level in relationships too, and you can really use this information that I just gave you to move forward faster. Because all of this week is a part of this relationship change. So new alignments in the world and in your world is coming. Definitely, I'm positive about it. And the Venus-Mercury conjunction Monday, you're really going to see how things where things are broke and where they have to be fixed, and you'll see how you can where you have to go towards and where you don't have to go towards. So the old can tempt you to go back, but you have to take a heartful decision and go forwards. And yes, that creates a risk, but who ever gained anything if we weren't following their heart and taking risks? You have to take a risk this week and do something about things. You cannot sleep upon it anymore. Time is now. Stop procrastinating your life. It's your responsibility, no one else's. If you don't do something now,
you have lost the train and the chance. Don't sacrifice your boundaries either. If people overstep your boundaries, say something. You don't have to make a speech. Say it shortly. A well-set boundary is a boundary set. This you don't do anymore. You don't even have to say period, because that is just in the air. And people are like, yeah, but this you don't do anymore. Of course, if the person really wants an explanation, okay, I can give it to you, but I have to let you understand that this is my boundary. So in the beginning of the week, we are kind of like divorcing people and having the final conversations with the ones that aren't gonna go on the train with us or on the flight into the new realm and world we're doing in relationship wise. And yeah, so you have to look upon the boundaries, of course, then, and of course the emotions will intensify some this week and also get a little unclear at times, but you just have to trust the process, right? So ask yourself, what is it that I deserve in my life? What do I really want? With whom do I belong? Where do I want to be? And what do we want to really do with our lives? So at the beginning of the week, you look upon what are the possibilities for me, and at the end you are like, okay, these were my possibilities, now I do it. This is the one that I'm committing to. These are the people, this is the one I want to marry. This is the one I want to do business with. This is the one I want to have kids with. This is the one I want to be friends with. This is the one that I want to start a family with, build a project with, have a friendship with. And then once you've seen that at the beginning of the week, then you go for it. At the end of the week, you say to that person, yes, you're the one. Let's do this. And you take that chance. There's a Rumi saying, goodbyes are only for those who love with their eyes. For those who love with their heart and soul, there's no separation. So don't be afraid if you have to say goodbye. It's all good. It's all good. Don't follow trends, follow your heart. Thanks for watching. Namaste.
There is this angel saying, I'm gonna find my way back home. The secret is love, he said. You've got to lift yourself up, try again. You long for will find you. Through all the hard times, I always seem to find the light in your eyes. We fall through.
Don't follow trends, follow your heart.